Hey everyone, I hope you're having a good Tuesday so far. This is definitely new to me recording myself, so if I do anything weird, you're just going to have to accept me for who I am. Equivalent expressions on Study Island is due this Friday, so you should have 5 blue ribbons by Friday. If you do not, you need to make sure you're maximizing your time when your care teacher or is offering that time for you. So we're going to look here on guided notes. You should have already gone over the warm-up and learning target and any vocab terms already at this point. So I'm going to read this along and you're going to follow with me. Below is a drawing of a wall that is to be covered with either wallpaper or paint. The wall is 8 feet high and 16 feet wide. The window, mirror, and fireplace are not to be painted or papered. The window measures 18 inches wide and 14 feet high. The fireplace is 5 feet wide and 3 feet high, while the mirror above the fireplace is 4 feet wide and 2 feet high. So the first thing I think about when I'm reading this is we've been dealing with area and we've been talking a lot about base and height. So I don't see base and height in here at all, but I see words that also are synonyms with those. So can someone raise their hand and tell me what is another word height could be used for? So Miss Peak, you can just pause me and until someone raises their hand. Okay, awesome. So high should mean height. So when they say 8 feet high, the wall is 8 feet high, that means height. So really height is going up and down, so we can just label that right here, 8 feet. Okay, and can someone raise their hand and tell me what is another word for base? Miss Peak, you can go ahead and pause me at this point until someone answers. Okay, awesome. So when it says the wall is 16 feet wide, that also is referring to the base. So we're just going to write that right here because this entire wall is 16 feet. This entire thing right here is 16 feet. And this entire thing is 8 feet. Okay, so it says the window measures 18 inches wide. So already we've been talking about feet. So what do we have to do to make sure we're all talking about the same type of measurement? Miss P, can you call on someone and pause me? Okay, awesome. So we have to convert our inches to our feet. And we know that 12 inches, I'm going to write in a different color here. Let's do this orange. We know 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So we need to find out how many feet are in 18 inches. So can someone raise their hand and tell me how we could really do that? Miss Peak, if you could go ahead and pause me. Okay, so what I thought of, I don't know if the same person that raised their hand thought of this, that since there's 12 inches in 1 foot, I already know I at least have 1 foot. But I know that I don't have 2 feet because I would have 24 inches then, and I only have 18. So once I did 18 inches minus 12 inches, I had 6 inches left. And I noticed that 6 inches is half of 12 inches. So which that means that 1 foot, we have half of a foot that equals 6 inches. So I really have 18 inches is 1.5 feet. Or you could write it like 1.5 feet for 18 inches. Okay, so we know this little part right here now is 1.5 feet. And that's just talking about, I'll do it in red, really right here. This line is 1.5 feet. Okay, so now it says that it is 14 feet high, which really it's just talking about right here. So this entire thing right there is 14 feet. Which really, since it's a rectangle, I know both of these sides are parallel. I know that this little thing right here also is 1.5 feet, and this base right here is also 14 feet because they are parallel to one another. Okay, so the fireplace is 5 feet wide and 3 feet high. So I'm going to do 5 feet and 3 feet. So which also means that over here is really 3 feet. And up here, this whole entire thing right here is 5 feet. But I don't need those on there. So now it says, well, the mirror above the fireplace, talking about right here, is 4 feet wide and 2 feet high. So I'm going to do my, let's do maybe a different color so we just don't get confused. 2 feet is right there, and it says 4 feet, talking about this entire line. Okay, so now that we have all of our model figured out, we're going to go ahead and answer some questions. So our first question is A, so that blank space in A on your guided notes underneath your model, that's where you're looking at. The question is, how many square feet of wallpaper are needed to cover the wall? So right now we need to think, okay, well, our whole wall, we know our measurements there, but we need to also think about what are we not covering? Obviously, we don't paint windows, we don't paint mirrors, we don't paint fireplaces, so those are not going to be wallpapered or painted. So we need to find out the area of the entire shape, but taking out some of those, the window, the mirror, and the fireplace, since those are not going to be counted. So I'm going to start with my total wall area. And now that we have explored parallelograms and special quadrilaterals, rectangles, we know the area for a rectangle is base times height. And I don't know if I have a little dot on here. So I'm going to do this little star. Actually, let's make, we'll do the little star as my times. Base times height. So we know that our base is 16 feet for the entire wall. So I'm doing 16 feet times 8 feet. And when I do that on my calculator, I'll give you guys some time to find it as well. What do you get? Miss P, could you call on somebody? Okay, awesome. So you get 128 feet squared. And let's see how I can make this squared here on the computer. 128 feet squared. We're talking about square units here, which is why area is always squared. So our total wall area is 128 feet squared. But we're not done because we have to kind of decompose this rectangle to take out the window, mirror, and fireplace because we're not going to be painting that. So we don't need to have that included in our total area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my window. So window area. I'm going to be doing base times height because it's a rectangle, which leads me to be doing 14 feet times 1.5 feet. And you don't need to be spelling out the times on your paper. You can just, use our dot symbol that represents multiplication. And when I do that, I get 21 feet squared. Sorry, I have to put this little square guy up here. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to start and go ahead and find the mirror and fireplace as well. Those are not being painted. So we have the mirror area, which that's a rectangle as well. So we're going to be doing base times height again. Your work needs to be looking like my work. This is proficient distinguished work because we are scholars, so we're going to make sure that we're labeling everything. We need to make sure that we're writing out formulas so it's very clear that I can see and Miss P can see what you're thinking. So mirror area, base times height, we have 4 feet times 2 feet. And that gets me 8 feet squared. Oh, sorry. There we go. And I need to do one more. I just need to find out my fireplace area. And the font is making it so big. So fireplace area. And it's a rectangle as well, so we know we're going to be doing base times height again. So I'm going to kind of move this right here, base times height. I need to bump these up. Thanks for being patient with me, guys. I promise through the week the videos will get better because I'm learning while I'm doing this. So tomorrow I should be a pro. In our fireplace, we have 5 feet times 3 feet, which gets us 15 feet squared. Remember, we're talking square units because we looked at the graph paper and we know that each of those units are squares. That's just some of our previous knowledge. So now that we have all of our area here, we have our total wall area and we have our random pieces. We need to be taking those out now. So to find this, we're going to take our total wall area, subtract our window area, subtract our mirror area, and subtract our fireplace area to get the actual wall area. Okay, so once I did that, we were able to do the 128 feet minus all of these window areas, mirror area, fireplace area, and get our 84 feet squared. And I boxed my answer to make it very clear to the person that's reading my paper. The wallpaper is sold in rolls that are 18 inches wide and 33 feet long. Rolls of solid color wallpaper will be used, so patterns do not have to match up. What is the area of one roll of wallpaper? So we already can see that it's talking about inches and feet, and those are both different types of units. So we need to figure out how to convert inches to feet. And which we did earlier, we already know 18 inches is equal to 1.5 feet or 1.5 feet. So when we do that, we get our area to be 1.5 feet times 33 feet because we're doing base times height, which gets us the area to be 49.5 feet squared for one roll of wallpaper. Okay, so we're still on part B. This is just the second part. It says how many rolls would be needed to cover the wall. So we know if we have 84 feet squared of our wall and we have 49.5 feet squared for one roll of wallpaper. So there are multiple ways we could solve this. So I'm taking my area of my wall. I'm going to divide it between the area of one roll of wallpaper because I want to find out how many rolls of wallpaper do I need all together. So when I do that in my calculator, I get 1.69696967, and so it goes on and on, it's repeated. And I'm not going to go to the store and tell them, can I have, this amount of number with all these decimals? I'm just going to probably round it as close as I can. It's about 1.7 rolls that I will need. And just to make their lives easier and my life easier, I'm probably just going to say I would need 2 rolls of wallpaper. This week, the rolls of wallpaper are on sale for $11.99 per roll. It may look like this sometimes, and you just know that's unit rate because our denominator, we're talking about one thing. So this is unit rate. Find the cost of covering the wall with wallpaper. We know that we're buying 2 rolls because we rounded 1.7 up to 2 rolls. So we need to find out, well, how much would it be for 2 rolls? I know how much it is for 1 roll, so something easy we could do is just, we could add them, but if I wanted to eventually buy a lot of rolls, it probably would make best sense to just multiply. So I did my work here, and then I answered in a complete sentence. So we need 2 rolls of wallpaper to cover the wall, which will cost $23.98. Okay, so we are done with our guided practice. You guys are going to go ahead and move on. It is up to Ms. Peak if you're going to be doing independent and partner work. It also depends on you and how you are behaving. So make sure you're getting your work done. Miss you all and have a great day.